Okay, so I'm going to state the obvious here. I have not recorded a podcast in what, 4 or 5 months, maybe? No excuses, but I will say life has pulled a fast one on me and I wanted to share it with you. So in January, I met a guy, fell in love fast and furious. I'll tell you, it felt like a fairy tale. So here I finally have a boyfriend. I haven't had the title boyfriend, girlfriend for almost 10 years. So that felt good in itself. Had a great job, had a house that I loved. But all of a sudden, come April, within a matter of 2 weeks, I became boyfriendless, jobless, houseless. Basically, if I had a title, I had to let it go. So I'll tell you, I sold my house, lost a lot of money on it. I met someone, had to unmeet them. I had a job that I really enjoyed, was laid off. And so, in all of that chaos, I had pushed or paused the podcast. But I'll tell you, I've really missed it. I've missed you. And honestly, I felt like I was long overdue, or we're long overdue for a good conversation. So this morning, I'll tell you, I was doing the one thing that's been consistent in my life, which is the Bible in a year every day. Um, there's a reading that I've been doing, and something really struck me. It wasn't the passage, it was the word anhedonia. Have you ever heard of it? I know you will know what it means. It's the opposite of hedoniism, which is someone that has too much pleasure. You know, you're seeking pleasure always. The anhedonio is the complete opposite, experiencing no pleasure. It's when that joy will drain out of you or drains out of us. So something that maybe used to light us up, gone. And I realized, is this where I've been the last few weeks? Not fully in burnout or crisis mode, but just kind of flat. Like life has been happening at me, not with me. And I'll say, I believe everything happens for a reason. But I also was thinking, this is probably something that everybody has felt. I'm probably not the only one that's felt this way, whether man or woman, married or single, working or not. We all go through seasons where we forget how to enjoy life, where guilt sneaks in every time we're not being productive. I've got air quotes if you're not watching the video, but yeah, when you're not being productive. And let me tell you, it is really weird. Like for me right now, I have so much free time. I mean, yes, I've been busy applying for jobs and doing all the things to kind of build my empire. But anytime I want to take time to hike, to bike, to rest, I still feel like I'm doing something wrong. Like I'm having this guilt for enjoying life. Like I'm thinking, "Oh my gosh, you should be working on your podcast. You should be applying for a job, right?" And here's the truth. I do not want to stay in that place. I can own those feelings, but I want to get out of that place. I want to heal it. I want to live. I want to enjoy the things that I love without having any shame or guilt. And I want all of you to feel that way too. So let me know in the comments if you've ever felt this way. Do you resonate with what I'm saying? If you don't, I'm super happy for you. But I will say, I'm ready to do this next podcast. I'm excited to jump back in. And I'll tell you, I had already wrote out my episode 19, which is what we're on back in January. And it still hits. It's still real. It's raw. And it is a good one. So I thought, you know what? We are going to pick up where we left off with a little love and a lot of sass. So, welcome back to the Elle Daily Podcast. And if you're listening to this one, this is our special segments this year is all about being off limits, talking about things where you wouldn't maybe always say it. So, we're going to dive into love, modern relationships, life, and the wild ride of masculine and feminine energy. So, I'm your host, Ellen Roers with Elle Daily. So, if you're here, thank you for stopping by. Don't forget to hit that follow or subscribe button so you'll never miss an episode. And if you're a regular, welcome back. I am so glad that you're here. So let's get into it. Why modern women are tired, because I know I've been there, or I'm often there, and men just want to step up. I know there's men out there that do want to step up, and we're going to kind of dive into this. So I want your insights on it. This is my perspective. I always say anything that I'm talking about is kind of my own perspective. And if you disagree, I would love to hear it. If you agree, I want to hear that too. So here's a quick opening story for you. Back in January, I went on a fun date, went to a rodeo. It was my first rodeo. You know how they always say, this wasn't my first rodeo. Well, this was my first rodeo and it was a blast. And I'll say the people were so nice. They were down to earth, friendly, considerate. The kind of people who would hold the doors open. They'd say, excuse me. They would make small talk without their phones being right in front of their face. Phones were put away. And what really stood out to me most with this whole event, it was the way that it started. So the MC, he was awesome. She's just funny. And he gets on the mic and says something like, we may not always be politically correct, but we do know one thing here. We start with a prayer. And sure enough, there we were, all of us, the whole arena of people, bowing our heads together in prayer before the show. And then I felt like it just continued to get to continued to get better. So after the prayer, they had this beautiful military woman. She was dressed in her uniform, just stunning, singing the national anthem. And at the same time, a few of the ladies came across on their horses holding the American flag. And I loved it too, because at one point in the night, they had asked all the military men and women, past, present, to stand so we could honor them. And it totally hit me in that moment. It was this room full of healthy and masculine and feminine energy, strong men, strong women, people who respect faith, country, and each other. And I just couldn't help to think, gosh, this is what's missing in so many places today. I didn't feel like anybody was tearing each other down, which I do have one story to get a little tear down from one man that was off limits. So that's why I'm bringing this into the podcast. You'll see there's a few other things we're going to talk about that are off limits for us men and women. But I will say in general, I couldn't help to just feel like, wow, nobody's tearing each other down. No one's pretending that men and women are the same. We're just celebrating what makes us great. So let's kind of dive into this rodeo story, because it really has a lot of good examples of our different energies. So, here I am watching the rodeo, and I couldn't help to notice something that was kind of cool about the way the men and the women compete. So I thought even the animals themselves reflect some of this different energy. When you see a male and a female horse, totally different. So let me highlight this portion of the event. So in the rodeo, as you know, the men compete in the more aggressive, high impact events. They're doing the bull riding, bronc riding. So they have the saddle and even the bareback. Meanwhile, the women are more in these like agile, finesse, kind of precise or precision type of events. So barrel racing was what the women had done. I don't think I saw any men doing the barrel racing. I know men do that, but in this case, it was just the women doing the barrel racing. And both such talent in a different way. But I will say, to me, I would much rather do the barrel racing, but I almost think it's harder in a way, but they're different, because I would never want to do the bucking bronco or any of the bull riding, right? It just would not even appeal to me. So I guess where I go with this is, guys or gals, let me know which one you'd rather do. Would you rather do the bronco or the bucking bull or the bull riding, or would you rather do the barrel racing? I'm curious. But if you kind of listen with me, you'll get the point that I'm going on, because there is a point to all of this. So the biological aspect, this is where I want to talk about kind of the biology of it all. Men and women were totally different. Men kind of thrive in that testosterone. I guarantee any man that was on the bull had a lot of testosterone, and I guarantee the bull had plenty of testosterone too. And then the women were probably more in their estrogen. I mean, when they're competing like that, yes, they do have some of that testosterone going in their body, but it just takes a different type of finesse to do the barrel racing. So the biological aspect, though, let's keep diving into this. So when you look at the male horses, even, they have this different kind of energy. They buck harder, they push back, they have this instinct to fight. Whereas the female horses, honestly, you wouldn't even have a female horse in the bronco side, because they need to have loins to be cinched to get them going. So I'm going to talk about that in a second, because I was thinking, I'm like, how do they get them to buck? And I didn't realize this, because I asked my date, I'm like, what are they pulling off of them? And he's like, oh, well, if you're like me, you've wondered, how do they get these horses to buck? It's all in the loins. So that bucking bronco is cinched around its loins, and it triggers their natural instinct to react. And here's the thing, it works because they're male. Their energy, their drive, their instinct to kind of resist, and it's all built in their biology. It would have been different for a female horse. And I think that's what I love about it. It shows how we're so unique. So going into that, wrapping up the masculine, feminine energy got me thinking, the masculinity, whether in men or animals, they have this unique energy about them. It's raw, it's powerful, it's designed to compete and push limits. Women, we have that too, or the feminine absolutely do. It's absolutely strong, but in a different way. There's more agility, grace, and control. And we have that balance of both. One isn't better than the other. They just work differently. And that's what makes it so fascinating to me. So I was like, I want to talk about this on my podcast. It makes perfect sense. So let's get into the off limits part. I will say there was one rude man at the rodeo who just stood out. And I was like, I let it go right away, but it's in my mind because I can picture it so perfectly. So here's this guy, and he turns around and says that we're talking too much. And I'm thinking, sir, this is not the library. So here I am. We are on a second date, getting to know each other, chatting, having a great time. And this man must be holding his granddaughter, I want to say. So sad that she had to see this. But he turns around and he's shushing us and telling us that we're talking too much. He was so rude. And I first thought he was joking, like making a joke. And I'm like, he's dead serious. I kind of looked at my date. I was like, oh my gosh, did he just say that? And, to be kind, we did kind of tone it down a little bit, but it's very loud at the rodeo. I don't know if you've been, and what's wrong with talking, right? So I would say it was off limits. Let me know if you think I was in the wrong by chatting at a rodeo, or if you think he was. Bottom line, it really doesn't matter. I guess I just thought, so weird. So weird. So I have 2 points about some of the off limits thing that this whole experience made me think of about us women trying to allow a man to step up. So ladies, this is for you. If you are wanting a man to lead, I would say the best thing that we can do is not reject him every time he tries to lead. We just can't complain about how they're doing it. Or you also can't complain if they're not taking charge, if you're the ones that are like stepping up all the time. So here's my challenge to us ladies, and this is me, I'm very guilty of it. If you want a man to step up, you do have to allow space. And I'm really learning that too, especially in the dating world, but allowing the man to step out, to take charge. And then to the flip side, to the men, I'm going to give you a little tidbit or tip. And I would say, like, in the early days of dating, maybe you are taking charge more. And as you get more comfortable with your woman and vice versa, she's comfortable with you, maybe she's starting to take control more. But I'll tell you, she's probably taking control because you're not. So try to step up, even if it's, just simple as planning a date. And you can still ask her what she wants. That way you're ensuring that you're planning what she wants. But yeah, don't be afraid to take the charge and to plan. Don't sit back and hesitate. It's like you got to just kind of take the bull with the horn, right? Is that how that goes? Yeah, take the bull by the horn, be in that masculine energy. And don't be afraid of her pushback either. I think you don't want to wait for permission. Just take charge and do it. So those are my things. Off limits, ladies, don't push a man for trying to lead. Men, don't be too laid back and hesitant. Try to take charge. Women, allow them to take charge. And if you're at a rodeo, do not turn around and shush someone. Those are all off limits. So one thing I want to end with is kind of a fun story, or like a positive story, some confidence, some class. He was a young man, actually. It's kind of fun. So I'm leaving the hotel. I have all my stuff. It's pretty early. I'm going to check out of the elevator. And I want to say boy, because he's 20 years younger than me, but he's 23. So he's, grown adult. But he's in his Crocs. I don't know what it is, like the Crocs and the flannel pants with that generation. It's kind of funny, but I'm like, good for him. He had some confidence to go into the elevator that way. And I respected that. And he had actually asked for my number. He was like, "You're beautiful." So I thought that was so sweet. What I loved is he took the time to look me in the eyes and tell me that I was beautiful and ask for my number. And I did have to turn him down because I thought, well, it was easy. I said, I'm in my 40s. And he kind of said, well, it's no big deal. I'm 23. It's no big deal. I thought, good for him. But I was just like, no, thank you. I'm so flattered. You made my day. And I will say that I said, I so appreciate you making conversation with me, letting me know. And I just thought, good for him. And it did bring such a joy and smile to my face. So the best part, he did not get offended. He didn't act weird. He just smiled and said, well, you are beautiful. And I was like, thank you. So here's my, call to us again. If you felt like you were thinking, with this episode, do me a favor, send it to a friend. I would love that. Start a conversation with your peeps, the people that you love. Ask them, where are you more at? And then if you are ready to embrace your masculine and feminine energy, do it. Let's challenge ourselves to kind of lean back where we need to and step up where we need to. And I will say, until next time, let's get back to what works. Sending you so much love. And I look forward to episode 20. Mwah. Bye. Have a great rest of the week.